حي على الفلاح.
When you have two people, one ruler. So between Ariyat and Abraha comes enmity. They start fighting between themselves. Abraha is wounded, but he returns back to his camp as the victor. Now, the Emperor Najashi, he got to hear about this and he became angry. So what does he do? He takes some Yemeni soil and with lots of precious gifts sends it off to Najashi, the Ethiopian emperor. When Najashi sees this, he became happy. He approves of Abraha ruling Yemen. Not only that, I will build for you a church which is so magnificent, it will be an icon. And he builds this huge church, which they call Al-Qullais. No expense is spared. And Abraha commands even the Arabs, now you don't go to Mecca. You do pilgrimage here. They didn't like this. They felt offended. To the extent, one of them one night comes to the Al-Qullais church, sneaks in, he defecates in it. He smears it on the walls. Abraha is infuriated. Who's responsible for this? Those Arab Quraysh. We're going to get our honor back. We will go and we will demolish their Kaaba. So Abraha gets a huge army ready and they start marching towards Mecca. And to top it off, not only was an army, they had with them huge tanks called elephants. And amongst these elephants, the biggest, the most heftiest, the most hench elephant is Mahmud. And it comes to an area called Katham. And there they met a resistance led by Nufail bin Habib. But they were defeated. And Abraha captures Nufail. But he keeps him as his guide. When they reach Ta'if, and the people of Thaqif, they went out. And they tried to appease him. And amongst them is a man called Abu Righal. And Abu Righal wants to save his own skin, so he offers to betray the Quraysh. They come and they go to the path going towards Mecca. But what happens, they capture in the surrounding mountains of Mecca about 200 camels. And these camels actually belong to Abdul Muttalib. And they sent an envoy to Mecca telling them that they've come to destroy the Kaaba. Leave the path open for us. When Abdul Muttalib hears this message, he says, Wallahi, by Allah, we have no wish to fight him. He says that this house is a sacred house. It's a house of Allah. It's a house of his Khalil Ibrahim alayhi salam. Let him do as he wishes. So one of the envoys, whose name is Hanatah, says to Abdul Muttalib, come and speak to our general Abraha. So Abdul Muttalib comes before Abraha, the lead of this army. And he's on his high seat like a throne. And he sees Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib was not a small man. He was a powerful, well-built person with handsome features. And Abraha became impressed with him as a leader of the Quraysh. So as a sign of respect, he comes off his seat and he sits on the carpet with him. And he asks and starts talking with him through a translator. He asks through the translator to Abdul Muttalib, what do you need? So Abdul Muttalib says to the translator, I want the king to return my camels back to me. When Abraha hears this, he says, tell him I was impressed when I saw you first of all. But now, I'm going to withdraw from you. I don't want to speak to you anymore because of what you just said to me. You're asking me about 200 camels, but you leave alone the matter about the house that I'm going to destroy, which is the base of your religion. You're talking about camels, and I came to destroy everything your religion, honors and venerates. So don't speak to me about these things. Abdul Muttalib replies back to him. He said, I am the Lord of these camels. But as for this house, it has its Lord who will defend it. Abraha says, I can't be stopped from destroying it. No one's going to stop me. So Abdul Muttalib said, okay, go ahead. Do it. Abraha returns back the camels. Away goes Abdul Muttalib. Now some of the scholars of tafsir, they mentioned that after that Abdul Muttalib told everybody, go take shelter in the mountains, and he stood at the door of the Kaaba, which had a huge ring on it, and he held this ring and he asked Allah that there is no matter more important to any man right now than the defense of his livestock and property. So, O my Lord, defend your property. Then Abdul Muttalib, he let go of that ring. They left 100 camels tied near the Kaaba. Why? They hoped that these people will take these camels which they left for Allah. They took Allah's property without permission. And by doing that, they believed that they would get Allah's vengeance upon them. So morning came, and Abraha starts to approach the sacred city of Mecca, and he prepares his elephant Mahmud, and he gets his whole army ready. They mobilize the army, and they've turned the elephant to march towards Kaaba. At that moment, Nufail ibn Habib, remember they captured. So Nufail comes and he approaches the largest elephant Mahmud, and he stands next to it, and then he takes his ear and he pulls his ear towards him, and he says in his ear, kneel Mahmud, then turn around and return directly to where you came from, because indeed you are in a sacred city of Allah. After that, Nufail makes a quick getaway, runs into the mountains. Abraham wants the army to march. Mahmud is the lead elephant. Get the elephants going. Mahmud stays kneeling down. They beat the elephant, doesn't move, doesn't budge an inch. They turn it then towards Yemen. It stands up, starts walking away. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a flock of birds, and each one had a tiny stone like a pebble. When this tiny stone fell, it would hit a target, and as soon as it hits a target, it would dissolve away the flesh straight through. It'll pass out behind. Every single tiny stone finding a target. The soldiers of the army of Abraha panicked. They've never seen anything like it. Raining down tiny stones, causing destruction on the army. And they fled. Some tried to go back to Yemen. Some tried to go to the mountains to take shelter. No. Because when the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes, none can avert it. And at that time, when Nufail had run into the mountain, he started to see how Allah is punishing them. He says, didn't you live with continued support? We favored you all with a revolving eye in the morning, meaning I was your guide looking around. A guide along the way. If you saw, but you did not see it at the side of the rock-covered mountain, that which we saw, then you will excuse me and praise my affair, and do not grieve over what is lost between us. I praised Allah when I saw the birds, and I feared that the stones might be thrown down upon us. So all the people are asking about the whereabouts of Nufail, as if I have some debt that I owe the Abyssinians. have you not considered how your Lord dealt with the companions of the elephant? Did he not cause their war to end in confusion and send down upon them birds in flocks, casting against them stones of baked clay? So he rendered them like straw eaten up.